Please remain standing, which you were going to do anyway, for the invocation by the Reverend Dr. Bruce Chilton, class of 1971, chaplain of the college, and the Bernard Iddings Bell Professor of Religion.
Some of you may have been distracted by activities this morning and therefore had not heard that the Republic of Ireland, reputedly the most Catholic country in the world, voted by popular majority the first time ever for marriage equality. Tune into the news. The count goes on, but it will be somewhere between 60 and 70% majority. I rest my case, change happens. Let us pray. God of change, heal our hearts to shake off cynicism and nurture transformation. Quicken our intelligence to find progress in the midst of confusion. Strengthen our resolve to put our privilege at the service of freedom. Amen.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Dietschy, and I am the Episcopal Bishop of New York. I am here today because Bard College was founded by a long ago Bishop of New York. Although the lived experience of Bard and the scope and reach of its influence on the academic and cultural life of the world has so far eclipsed the more modest St. Stephen's College, which was its antecedent, that I think those long ago folks would hardly believe what they would see were they here to see all of you gathered here today. But all of the successor bishops of that founder have sat on the board of trustees of this college, and as the latest incarnation of that succession, it is my privilege to do so, and a great honor for me that President Bodstein has asked me to make the welcome today and preside at the opening part of this commencement. This is, for everyone here, a day of extraordinary celebration and joy. For those of you who are graduating and receiving degrees, it is one of the life-marked experiences that you will never forget. It marks a pivot as you move from one season of your life into another, as some period of preparation now gives way to a new chapter of your lives. It would be presumptuous of me to say what this means for any of you, for it means something different to each of you. But what I would say here today is that what we capture in this gathering, what we celebrate, and what is absolutely apparent in every one of you is the truth of the infinite possibilities inherent in every moment, and of the new creation inherent in every person. We celebrate that today, we mark it, and then we wait and watch and live into that which is to come, knowing that whatever is to be born out of this day, it is born out of extraordinary accomplishment, hearts alive to the love of learning, and a spirit of cultural, artistic, and scientific inquiry that makes the world turn. One of my joys in being on the Board of Trustees and my affiliation with Bard College has been get to know, to develop a friendship with, and to develop such an extraordinary sense of admiration that I have for your president, Leon Botstein. It is, unfortunately, not a common thing in this life to meet a person of actual vision. In the book of the prophet Jeremiah, it tells us that where there is no vision, the people perish. And we are sustained as a common life and community by those in our midst who have the eyes to see that which lies beyond the horizon ahead. Bard is blessed to have at its helm, as it has had now for 40 years, 4 decades of service to this place, Leon Botstein, who sees farther than most, higher than most, who believes that which many fear to believe, and who is certain of that which casts doubts into the hearts of others. He has taken this institution from a time when it was small and troubled into becoming the educational empire that it is today, and one of the finest institutions in the support of art, music, culture, and science that we certainly have in New York or that we have in the world. It is my deepest pleasure and great honor to introduce him.
I want to add my voice of congratulations to the class of 2015. To all of you, who are getting degrees today, and to all of your friends, families, and perhaps even enemies who have gathered here to observe the event. And I think all the students should take this moment to thank their families and friends who have made this day possible. I want to thank the Bishop of New York. I was not brought up in an environment to make me entirely comfortable with someone who carries the title of bishop. It is somewhat mesmerizing for those of us out of the faith of Christianity. But my experience with the bishops of New York has shown that the Episcopal Church has been one of the most liberal and constructive forces in Christianity in the United States, and one of the fighters for social reform from within the Christian community. And it is an honor to have Bishop Dice on our board. One thing you don't know about him is that he's the only bishop in the Episcopal Church or the Catholic Church whose profession is that of a cartoonist. Now, I don't know what that means theologically about your view of human nature, but before he entered the priesthood, he earned his living successfully as a cartoonist. And I've asked him whether he might continue that role in his current post.
Working on one right now, Leon.
Thanks, Zach. Finally, before I introduce our commencement speaker, I've been asked about the flags we carry. So there are 8 of them. The ones here ought to be familiar, but just in case you need a reminder, the one to my extreme right, I don't mean that symbolically, is the is that of our country, the United States of America. The one next to it is of the state of New York. The one next to that is that of the Episcopal Church. And the one after that has the banner and seal of Bard College. On our left are our 4 sister-affiliated campuses at which we also give bar degrees. There's Smolny College within the University of St. Petersburg, the Al-Quds Bard College on the West Bank, the American University of Central Asia in Kyrgyzstan, and finally, Bard College, Berlin. When Barack Obama was elected President of the United States, and twice so, as the first African-American president, there was the brief illusion that the issue of race, which has defined and troubled this nation, was poised for improvement and resolution. But the election somehow stripped the veil of illusion that we had come to terms with the question of race. In the wake of his election, there has been an outburst of discrimination and violence on the basis of race. The president himself has been the object of a level of criticism and vitriol that can only be explained by the fact that he is not white. We have seen the evisceration of any progress made through the Voting Rights Act and the legislation of the 1960s. We've seen repeated violence against black men and boys through profiling. And we've seen the unmasking of discrimination and disadvantage in education and employment on the basis of race. Our speaker today is a distinguished lawyer and scholar. She is the president and director of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. In the wake of Ferguson and the actions of the Supreme Court, she has emerged as one of the most powerful and eloquent individuals to speak on behalf of social justice, racial equality, and the reform of our democracy so that it can realize the promises inherent in our Constitution and our principles. She has been extremely helpful to BARD by clearing the path for us to open a public BARD High School Early College this fall in Baltimore. So it is with admiration, humility, and thanks that I welcome Sherrilyn Ifill to the podium.
Thank you. Good morning, afternoon. What a beautiful day. Thank you, President Leon, my friend, faculty and students and parents and award recipients. Congratulations to all of you. I'm humbled to be in such esteemed company and to have the opportunity to say a few words to you today. Graduation days are filled with promise and excitement and accomplishment. They're days of true and pure celebration. And so I won't speak long because I know that you wish to enjoy this wonderful day with your family. In fact, I wondered what I should say to BARD graduates as you launch into the world. I am, as you know, a civil rights lawyer, and so I regard it as my duty to encourage you to put your brilliant minds to work on issues of justice and equality, and human dignity. But you are graduates of Bard, and this means that you are already committed to social justice, already individual thinkers. You are intellectually curious and courageous, and you've charted your own path. What can I say to you when the institution that has shaped you reaches into our prisons and recognizes the humanity, the intellectual potential, and the dignity of the incarcerated by offering the opportunity to earn a 4-year Bard College degree? What can I say when your institution is led by a brilliant visionary who is reimagining what high school and college can look like for young people in some of our most challenged and under-resourced communities? You cannot imagine what it means to us in Baltimore in these troubled times to have an institution like Bard invest in the future of our young people in a way that speaks to the urgency of the condition of their lives. You have been surrounded by a dedication to excellence, the highest appreciation for art in all its forms, and a full-on embrace of the humanities. But perhaps precisely because you have been nurtured in such an extraordinary environment, perhaps because you are hardwired to believe that art and music are essential for the human spirit, because you are committed to education and research, to intellectual debate and civil discourse, because you believe that facts matter and that science is not arrogance. Perhaps because you are so wonderfully shaped by the environment at Bard, you will need even more fortification as you face the challenges waiting out there for you beyond today's celebration. Because the challenges we face in our country today, the fundamental questions on the table, are ones that go to the very heart of our democracy. They call on us today to decide not only who we are, but who we will be as a nation and as a community for successive generations. And you, Bard graduates, are desperately needed to help us sort through these challenges. We live in a great country with tremendous opportunities, and the future is bright for you without question. But to be a responsible member of the community to which you belong, to exercise true citizenship, you will be obligated to help our nation grapple with its most vexing and starkest contradictions. You are called to help us determine whether we are truly committed to equality, dignity, fairness, second chances, reason, justice, and peace. Because it is not, after all, just that we incarcerate 2 million people, more people than any other nation in the world. It is that we have made a culture of imprisoning our fellow citizens. And in creating this culture, we have demeaned ourselves. We have created television programs and forms of humor that focus on violence in prison. And we have condoned the practice of assigning prisoners to months, years, and in some instances, even decades of solitary confinement with the full knowledge that this will strip them of their sanity. And we have not even begun to research, to understand, and to prepare ourselves for the shifts in our society and culture that have resulted from these decisions we have made. We do not yet know the long-term effect on our democracy of the trauma of mass incarceration. It is not just that we have allowed states to enact repressive voting rights laws. It is not just that the state of Texas has decided that students in that state can no longer use their university ID to vote. Is that instead they have decided that you may use a concealed gun carry permit as identification to vote. It is not just that we have starved our children of access to arts and music education in our public schools. It's that we've shifted the whole narrative about art and music to one in which the value is seen only through how the lens of whether it may improve test scores. It is not only that the flaws in our justice system have been horrifyingly revealed as we watch the death of Eric Garner on Staten Island, or saw Walter Scott running for his life in South Carolina before he was shot like prey by police officers. It is not just that we have seen in glaring technicolor the racial injustices in our criminal justice system. It is that we now also know that law enforcement has in places like Ferguson, Missouri, been turned into a means of income generation for municipal government, a practice so grotesque so demeaning to the dignity of both law enforcement officers and the communities they serve, and so corrosive to the legitimacy of the rule of law in a democracy that you must reimagine the very structure of local governance and law enforcement in communities across this country. It is not only that we live in a time of staggering income inequality beyond which we have ever experienced in this country. It is that during this precise period of growing inequality, we have deliberately starved the infrastructure that supports our communities and the critical institutions of public life, the institutions that allowed my parents, 2 immigrants with little formal education, to raise 10 children in New York City in the 1960s, and that allowed me and my siblings to become nurses and doctors and lawyers and teachers and to learn trades and to live that elusive thing called the American dream. These are big and complex problems. It will require more engagement, more creativity, more commitment, more investment than we have ever conceived to right the ship of our democracy at this moment. But we can do it, and the burden and the privilege of doing this important work will fall to you. You will need to bring all that you have learned during your time here at Bard to the work of engaging these issues, and whatever your chosen field, whether it is art or law or medicine or science or academia, you must take up the work of grappling with these tough, complex problems. How will you do this? You will do this with all the courage, curiosity, rigor, critical thinking, and passion you've brought to your education here at Bard. You can do it because you are not afraid of tough questions and hard answers. You can do it because you have been trained to value experimentation and to be unafraid of that necessary ingredient to all true experimentation, failure. You can do it because you believe in debate and dissent and civil discourse. And you will take those skills and values and apply them, I hope, beyond New York City or New York State to places where my clients live, like Shelby County, Alabama, Harris County, Texas, and Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana. And finally, I wish to share one other thing. You may know that I was a passenger on Amtrak train 188 that derailed and crashed last Tuesday night. I entered the train in Baltimore City, focused as I always am on work, planning to send an important email to my office as soon as I settled in my seat. But nothing seemed to go right. When I checked my ticket as the train rolled into Baltimore Penn Station, I saw that I didn't have my usual business class seat, and I was annoyed. Then I realized that I didn't have my portable Wi-Fi air card, so I would be left to the uncertainty of Amtrak's dubious Wi-Fi. These are the only reasons I was not sitting in the business class car that suffered the worst damage and the highest fatalities, and why I was not working on my laptop when the crash happened. Instead, I was on the phone talking with my beloved sister. And when I came to, walking on the tracks, I was still clutching that phone. Thus, unlike so many others, I was able to contact my closest family members and friends, those listed among the favorites on my phone within minutes of the crash. And they, some of whom are here, this magical circle of family and friends, through this phone surrounded me with care and comfort from hundreds of miles away. I emerged from this awful accident with a broken collarbone, a concussion, and some emotional scars to be sure. But I'm grateful to be alive and relatively unhurt. And while I'm still processing much of what happened and trying to understand what I should make of this extraordinary experience, I do know this much. Committing your life to making meaningful art, or teaching the disadvantaged, or to, as I have, racial, gender, or LGBT justice issues. Devoting yourself to ending religious intolerance, or to protecting the resources of our precious planet, to finding the cure for a terrible disease, to inventing some life-changing device or code, to composing transcendent pieces of music, does not exempt you from what I believe is the ultimate command of the universe, the ultimate command in my faith of God, to live and to love. Not just to go through the motions, not to work relentlessly until the very joy of life is stripped away, as I was in peril of doing before this accident. Not to forget to breathe country air deeply, not to say you have no time for long walks or long hugs or long goodbyes. We are called first and foremost to live. and to nurture that magic circle of what I call favorites, that tight group of family and friends to whom you will instinctively reach out when calamity happens, and who will surround you with their love and get you back on your feet to face the challenges and work ahead. This, too, the nurturing of this group, is a kind of work, and you must take it as seriously and apply yourself to it as diligently as you will to the work of responsible citizenship that your community and your country demands of you. So, class of 2015, I am excited to know that you will be leading our community, our country, and what we will become. I have confidence that you are prepared and committed, engaged, and unafraid to do this great work. Congratulations.
Sherrilyn spoke of long goodbyes. This is one of them. So it is longer than you think, but shorter than it could be. It is still a moment of speech-making and awards and presentations. And I used to make the analogy that it was like marriage and happened only once. But that isn't true. This only happens once. Marriage I can't speak for, but in this case, you graduate from college only once. You probably get a master's degree only once. At least I would advise you to do it only once. You get a PhD probably only once. If you do it more than once, we have to talk. So for you, this is unique. For the rest of us, we may have other reasons to attend a commencement. So please be patient. When the degrees are given, do not ignore the ones who are not your loved ones. Don't stand in their way. Honor every student who gets a degree as if he or she were a member of your own family. In the big red book, which each of you has, you will see that there are a series of awards. Some were given last evening. I want to point out the presentation of the Bard Medal to Marlouise Hessel, the John and Samuel Bard Award in Medicine Science to Elias Washington, the Kellogg Award in Arts and Letters to Charlotte Mandel, the John Dewey Award for Distinguished Service to Harvey Stearns, the Mary McCarthy Award to Alex McDermott, and Bardeen Awards to members of the faculty and staff who are retiring: Benjamin Lafarge, Mark Lytle, Martha Olson, Eustace Rosenberg, and Hap Tivy. And that gives me an occasion not only to honor them, but to ask the entire faculty assembled here of Bard to stand to receive our thanks and our gratitude. The faculty of Bard College. Over the past academic year, also described in your book, are honorary degree and awards given not during commencement weekend. They are to Jose Antonio Abreu, the founder of El Sistema, to Vali Mikhailovich Monachov, who helped found Smolny, to the Cardinal of New York, Bishop Dietrich's counterpart at the prison commencement in January, and to Deborah Borda, the chief executive of the Los Angeles Philharmonic. We now turn to the first set of degrees and the honorary degrees, and I ask David Schwab, Chair Emeritus and Trustee of the College, and Jean Churchill to present the first candidate for the honorary degree.
President Botstein, I have the honor, the distinct honor, of presenting Arthur Aviles, class of 1987, as a candidate for the alumni honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts.
We honor you, Arthur Aviles, for bringing pride and honor to your alma mater through your artistry and public service. As a dancer and choreographer, you have not been content merely to win critical acclaim. You have reached out to ensure that the arts become part of the fabric of our lives, the lives of all citizens, not only the wealthy and the privileged. Congratulations.
Our degrees are given in Latin, and so this degree reads, Actoritate mihi commissa te ad gradum in artibus elegantoribus doctoris admito omniaque jura ac privilegia atum gradum pertinentia tibi concedo, et in testimonium hoc diploma tibi solemne trado. Congratulations. I now recognize Stanley Reichel, class of 1965, trustee of the college, and Felicia Keesing, the David and Rosalie Rose Distinguished Professor of Science, to present the next candidate for the honorary degree.
President Botstein, I have the honor of presenting Corey Bargman for the honorary degree of Doctor of Science.
We honor you, Corey Bargman, for your path-breaking and innovative achievements in biology. Using a species unjustly maligned by religion, your work has brought us closer to understanding how our brain functions. In your hands, the magic and transformative power of science come alive. And for that, BARD is proud to express our admiration and gratitude.
Actoritate mi commissa te ad gradum in scientis doctoris admito omniaque jure a privilegia adum gradum pertineta tibi concedo et in testimonium hoc diploma tibi solemne trado. Congratulations. I now call to the podium Elizabeth Eli, class of 1965, Secretary and Life Trustee, and Peter N. Miller, Dean of the Bard Graduate Center of Decorative Arts, Design, History, and Material Culture, who will present the next candidate for the honorary degree.
President Botstein, I have the honor of presenting Anthony T. Grafton as a candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
We honor you, Anthony Grafton, for your achievements as one of the world's truly great historians and humanists. The range, depth, elegance, inventiveness, and scope of your scholarship and teachings are without peer. Your capacity to bring the seemingly distant past alive has renewed our faith in the traditions of historical and humanistic scholarship.
Auctoritate mi commissa, ter gradum in litteris humaniboribus doctoris admitto, omni aquae jura prevege ad un gradum pertinente tibi concedo, et in testimonium hoc diploma tibi solemne trado. Congratulations. I now call to the podium Charles S. Johnson, class of 1970, and trustee of the college, and Roger Berkowitz, associate professor of political studies and human rights, who will present the next candidate.
President Botstein, I have the true honor of presenting Sherrilyn Ifill as a candidate for the honorary degree, Doctor of Laws.
We honor you, Sherrilyn Ifill, for your commitment to social justice and the struggle against racism. You brought honor, eloquence, insight, and courage to the teaching and the practice of law. You have brought the possibilities of democracy, equality, and freedom to life. We honor you for your tireless and compassionate defense of the defenseless and your fearless advocacy of the rights of the disenfranchised.
Auctoritate mi commissa, ter gradum in legibus doctoris admitto, omniaque jure a privilege ad hum gradum pertinetia tibi concedo, et in testimonium hoc diploma tibi solemniter trado. Congratulations. And last but not least, I recognize Emily Fisher, Vice Chair of the Board and Trustee, and Judy Pfaff, the Richard B. Fisher Professor of the Arts, who will present the final candidate for the honorary degree.
President Botstein, I have the honor of presenting Kiki Smith as a candidate for the honorary degree of Doctor of Fine Arts.
We honor you, Kiki Smith, as one of the most original and gifted visual artists of our time. Few have demonstrated such consistent imagination and been so fearless in reconnecting sculpture to the experience of life and tackling the essential issues of identity, suffering, life, and death through art.
Auctoritate mi commissa, ter gradum in artibus elegantoribus doctoris admitto, omniaque jure ac privilegia ad un gradum pertinente tibi concedo, et in testimonium hoc diploma tibi solemne trado. Congratulations. One of the oldest traditions And one of the ones that I cherish the most is having the last word at commencement. To the class of 2015, the pomp and circumstance of commencement and the diplomas you have earned and are about to receive celebrate the significance and power of education and learning. But one overarching and unanswered question haunts us every year just at this moment. If education and the traditions of learning we celebrate today are so crucial to us as individuals and as citizens, why have we failed quite persistently to find the means to inspire ourselves and others to treat our fellow human beings, no matter who they are, whether they be neighbors, strangers we find next to us on a subway, a line in a store, at an airport, or anonymous populations at a great distance, with genuine respect and empathy? The paradoxical challenge this ceremony presents all of us here today is whether we actually can learn to choose freely, to act with the proper regard for the sanctity and dignity of each and every human life. Put another way, the question is whether there's any hope for human progress, not just in technology and science, but in the way we live and conduct ourselves as private individuals and citizens in society. Or are we condemned forever to remain disturbed and distracted by perceived differences between ourselves and others, and by the apparent absence of resemblance to ourselves among so many around us? When we look for ourselves in the faces of others and see only differences, then we render the exhortation to love thy neighbor as thyself entirely moot. In its place, we allow suspicion, mistrust, and fear to guide us. Can that which your barred diploma signifies, an encounter with science, history, art, literature, philosophy, the grand traditions of learning, prepare any of us to resist resentment and envy, and more importantly, replace violence with reason, particularly when the pervasive violence in our world masquerades as greed and desire? Can a psychologically adequate sense of regard for human equality, with a tolerance for differences and therefore a genuine pluralism, be cultivated by education and made to take root in society? Despite their consistent embrace of the language of love, tolerance, and forgiveness, the world's religions have, if anything, helped justify intolerance and violence rather than deter it. Is there any realistic prospect that we will ever learn to live with each other in peace and tranquility? This daunting web of questions has its painful modern history. The senseless carnage of World War I led Sigmund Freud to the conclusion that there was something in human nature beyond eros, beyond love, a universal death instinct, thanatos. By 1930, his pessimism led him to predict more war and violence and lament the impotence of culture and civilization as deterrents to human self-destruction. For a brief moment after World War II, it seemed that confronting the horrors of the death camps and the brutality of fascism would inspire us to change. A similar glimmer of optimism occurred right after the fall of communism. Yet despite all the museums and memorials to the victims of war, tyranny, and genocide, it seems that little progress has been made. And the tragedy and memory of 9/11 only ushered a new continuing wave of violence and hate. Even if we were to follow the call by Brian Stevenson, commencement speaker here a decade ago, to erect long overdue markers and memorials to the African Americans brutally lynched in our own nation's past, would that recognition inspire us to become less racist and more civilized? The wonders of technology, to which we all have become increasingly addicted, have not made the prospect of moral and ethical progress more plausible. As we retreat from direct human communication, speaking and meeting in real time and space, and text one another, communicate through screens that project images of ourselves, and celebrate online relationships and even online education as immediate, cheaper, and more efficient, we find ourselves moving about, in public spaces and never looking anyone in the eye. Caught up in a complex but isolating network of social communication that only generates the illusion of contact while depriving us of all genuine privacy and intimacy. Ludwig Wittgenstein once remarked, "No language is conceivable which does not represent this world." In that simple observation rests the realism of all hope, the possibility that things might actually change. If we can talk about a more humane and just world, then perhaps we might learn to act to make it. The fight for ethical progress in our private lives and our politics is not lost. Your education here equipped you to connect speech with thought. Despite Freud's pessimism and the depressing landscape of intolerance and violence in which we live today, we must continue to cultivate the unique human quality represented by language. The capacity to speak and to learn, to create meaning, to use our imaginations, to pursue knowledge and beauty. It is precisely institutions like BARD that are dedicated to the pursuit of inquiry, to teaching and learning through personal relationships and not machines, to the making of art and connecting theory with practice on behalf of justice and civility, that hope rests. Forget the pundits who are eager to predict that our best colleges and universities are doomed by technology to become obsolete. The traditions of learning you have encountered here have created, absorbed, and survived every technological change for the past 1,000 years. But the hope that education inspires depends in turn on each of us to find ways through language to connect learning to action with the sort of courage that a true education inspires. As each of you crosses this stage to receive your diploma, remember that every one of you has something to contribute to the cause of humanism. Therefore, I charge you to cherish your experience here. Remember it and keep it close to your heart. Never abandon the process of learning, the ambition to use language to imagine, improve, and improvise. By sustaining the conversation about a better world and acting on it, you will honor the values, traditions, and commitments of your alma mater. As you take your place in the larger world, share your talent and join us in protecting education and the traditions of learning dedicated to beauty, justice, and the public good embodied in this college. Help sustain the hope that in the education you experienced here, an education devoted to the intersection of language, thought, and action, rests the only prospect for improving the human condition. The diploma you will receive today is a token of a realistic idealism of all the good we humans are capable of. Cherish it. Congratulations to you all. I now introduce Norton Batkin, Vice President of the College and Dean of Graduate Studies, who will present the graduate degrees.
Before we begin the presentation of candidates for graduate degrees, please note that in the interest of time, we will not be reading the names of those candidates unable to join us today, but all candidates are listed in the program in recognition of their accomplishments. President Botstein, I have the honor of introducing Susan Weber, Director of the Bard Graduate Center, Decorative Arts, Design History, Material Culture, and the Iris Horowitz Professor in the History of the Decorative Arts, who will present candidates for the graduate degrees in Decorative Arts, Design History, Material Culture.
President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the following member of the class of 2015 for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Decorative Arts, Design History, Material Culture. This candidate has completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Deborah Schmidt-Bach.
This is our one PhD at our commencement. And I don't want to embarrass her, but in case you are curious, each of the robes we wear is a feudal symbol of some kind of fealty we owe the institution from which we graduated. She has a barred gown. Actoritate mi commissat ad gradum philosophae doctoris in artibus decorantibus historia decoris culturi materiali admito omniaque iure ac privilegia hatum gradum pertinita tibi concedo et in testimonium hoc diploma tibi solemne trado. Congratulations.
It is also my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Arts in Decorative Arts, Design History, Material Culture. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Lisa Adang. Emily Banas. Virginia Pfister. Andrew Gardner. Annabelle Keenan. Jane Kilmore. Jamie Loria. Claire McGree. Julia Pastor. Sarah Pickman. Ariel Rosenblum. And Lanshin Wang.
President Botstein, I have the honor of introducing Arthur Gibbons, Director of the Milton Avery Graduate School of the Arts and Professor of Sculpture, who will present candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts.
Thank you. President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Fine Arts. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Please welcome 2 of 28 MFA degrees. Anton Ginsberg. Jessica Milnitz.
President Botstein, I have the honor of introducing Nayland Blake, class of 1982, and chair of the International Center of Photography Bard Program in Advanced Photographic Studies, who will present candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts.
President Botstein, I have the honor of, President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Fine Arts. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Esther Deborah Bosch.
I want to say...
What?
I want only to interrupt to say that he is an alumnus, and I assure you he didn't look that way when he graduated, but he bears the most remarkable resemblance to Leo Tolstoy.
Esther Deborah Bosch. Stephanie Ray Colgan. Joseph Dessler Costa. Anna Karen Ekros. Marie Louise Omn. Kathleen Shannon. Marissa Sotos. Daniel Terna. Jessica Ann Thalman. Michael Torres. Kimberly Juanita Wade. Tracy Dawn Williams.
President Botstein, I have the honor of introducing Eben Goodstein, Director of the Bard Center for Environmental Policy, who will present candidates for the degrees of Master of Science in Environmental Policy and Master of Science in Climate Science and Policy.
President Botstein, trustees, faculties, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Policy. These candidates have completed all of the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Andrew Vincent Bonanno. Jessica Lorraine Delgado Tarbo. Sonam Dangwo. Terrence James Duval. Sarah Lynn Gendell. Mary Catherine Gilligan. Jessica Lynn Collar. Rochelle Janine March. Emily Catherine McCarthy. Meredith Elizabeth Murray. Judson Slade Peck. Jessica Nicole Shug. Brett Mackenzie Sykes. Christina Marilyn Wilt. It is also my pleasure to present the following member of the class of 2015 for the degree of the Master of Science in Climate Science and Policy. This candidate has completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Jennifer Hannah Collado.
President Botstein, I have the honor of introducing Paul O'Neill, Director of the Graduate Program at the Center for Curatorial Studies and Art in Contemporary Culture, who will present the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Curatorial Studies.
President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Arts in Curatorial Studies. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and the trustees of Bard College. Xavi Akaran. Kat Ditzig. Amber Asiva. Roxana Fabius. Lee Foley. Wang Xing. Elizabeth Larison. Robin Lynch. Park Myers. Natalia Zuluaga.
President Botstein, I have the honor of introducing Derek Furr, Director of the Master of Arts in Teaching program at Bard College, who will present the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching.
President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Laura Bradford. Austin Crittenden. Justin Dempsey. Van Duong. Catherine Greenleaf. Andy Hoffman Patalona. Madeline Huggins. Camille Mader. Moraima Ortiz. Daniel Park. Jonathan Pesner. Lily Schrodel. Joy Sebesta. Alexander Sicarella. Conrad Torres. Nisa Williams. Michael Wood.
President Botstein, I have the honor of introducing Dawn Upshaw, Artistic Director of the Graduate Vocal Arts Program at the Bard College Conservatory of Music and the Charles Franklin Kellogg and Grace E. Ramsey Kellogg Professor of the Arts and Humanities, who will present the candidates for the degree of Master of Music in Vocal Arts.
President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Music in Vocal Arts. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the state of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Lucy Fitzgibbon. Jeremy Hirsch. Michael Hoffman. Helen Zhubing Huang. Catherine Masick. Laura Sotobayomi. And Sarah Tuttle.
President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present, in the place of James Bagwell, the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Music in Conducting. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the state of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Michelle Asher. Anastasia Serdsev. President Botstein, I have the honor of again calling upon Eben Goodstein, who will present the candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration in Sustainability.
President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degree of Master of Business Administration in Sustainability. These candidates have completed all the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the state of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Nancy Acevedo. Jacqueline Rose Anderson. Sarah Bodley. Miles Credian. Amy Davila Sanchez. Ian Edwards. Whitney Files. Burnell Greer. Christine Kennedy. Jessica King. Miles Knowles. Jeff Leatherwood. Rochelle March. Kathleen Menke-Sheehy. Chelsea Mosen. Juzer Rangunwala. Jessica Ridgway. Hannah Savage. Carrie Sinclair Williams.
Will all the candidates for master's degree please rise? Auctoritate mi commissa vos ad gradu magistri admitto, omniaque iure ac privilegia hat hos gradus pertinentia vobis concedo et in testimonium hoc diploma vobis solemne trado. Congratulations to you all. In the Red Book, you can follow the awarding of undergraduate degrees, which is about to commence. You will see, in the case of every student, a senior project, and the advisor of that senior project. This is the capstone of the undergraduate experience, and it is something every undergraduate takes pride in. The awards and prizes given to undergraduates are also in the Red Book, including our scholar athletes on our teams. And I want to especially single out all of the recipients of awards and prizes in the class of 2015. Finally, this is the last commencement at which the dean, magnificent and terrific dean of the college, will serve as dean. After 14 years, she is stepping down to return to the faculty. I can think of no finer colleague and no individual more concerned with the well-being of every student in this college. So please join me in expressing our thanks and welcoming Michelle Dominy, the dean of the college, who will present the class of 2015.
President Botstein, trustees, faculty, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present the following members of the class of 2015 for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Science. These candidates have completed all of the requirements for this degree as prescribed by the State of New York and by the faculty and trustees of Bard College. Beatrice Agnes Abbott. Juliana Beato. Joshua A. Abramovici. Sydney L. Abuali. Serena Y. Akamatsi. Guled Abdishakur Ahmed. Maya Phyllis Moon Akiva. Yasmin Melissa Akhturk. Yelena Rajanova Alashkevich. Oliver Charles Alex. Armin Mulik Alkazi. Mylethi Ananthasa Sayan. Let me try that again. Mylethi Anantha Sayan. Rachel Pauline Anders. Nellie June Anderson. Samuel C. Anderson in absentia. Angel Arias. Eric Lee Arroyo. Blagavesta Atanasova. Emin Berk Atuk. Sofia Avsuk. Mylinda Bakaj. Bria Latona Bacon. Max Boris Baird. Alice Winslow Bertano Baker in absentia. Diego Andres Barnes. Lauren Marie Barnes. Alexandra C. Barrow. Ruben Gabriel Barron. Benjamin Forrest Barron. Ryan Hathaway Bartell. Michael A. Bartley. Hannah Faye Bierman. Laura Elizabeth Begley. Helen M. Bendix. Isabel Skye Bennett. Caleb Charles Benor. In absentia. Emily Grace Berkowitz. Shula Faye Bermudez Silverman. Akshita Manjari Banideo. Anna Victoria Bicolas. John Errol Bilgan. Jordan Brooks Bodwell. Leela Emily Bolsishek. Samuel Aaron Botstein. Grace V. Brandmeier. Robert Stephen Brannigan. Sophie Louise Brazunas. Ezra Broach. Ariel Brana Wiener. Oliver Stanley Brooks. Sarah C. Brophy. Sophie M. Browner. Liv Bruce. Griffin Samo Burke. Sayandoe Darwin Burnett. Elizabeth Kiara Burns. Cameron E. Burrell. Kaylee Marshall Butler. Trigvi Carlton Butler. Bernardo Antonio Caceres. Elisa Benedetti Caffro. Joshua J. Calvo. Desiree Amalia Rachel Campbell. In absentia, Andrew Dish Campoli. Hannah Rose Cantor. Corinna R. Cape. Alexander Elliott Carter Parks. Victoria Catherine Castiglione. Francisco K. Cathcart. In absentia, Sally Rowland Chaquin. Brandon Chen. Cody E. Chen. Frances Karen Clark.
Ladies and gentlemen, every year it happens that one of your classmates who has been working toward the BA degree in the prisons is released in time to receive his diploma as a free individual. Please join me in welcoming this member of the class of 2015 who earned his BA degree at Eastern Correctional in New York.
Michael Cleland. Emily Jane Conant. Bailey Lauren Connolly. Alexandra Barrett Cooper. Jordan E. Cooper. Eve C. Copeland. Jorge Cortez Martinez. Phoebe Lilith Kramer. Marisol Grace Parker Crawford. Rashad Kyle Anthony Crooks. Natalie Hanil Cuomo. Soumya Dadu. Dylan Alexander Dayan. Alexander Amir de la Serra. Adina Danziger. Anna Manaka Denisevsky. Elizabeth H. Darnell. Joshua Maya Daub. Casper Andre Davis. Kelsey Ann Davis. Gabriel Weiss DeSanto. Noah Street Dickerman. Bruno G. DeCorsia. Kaya Thea Diepenbrock. Grace A. Diliberto. Jackson Caldwell Dill. Michael Angelo DeRosa. Nelson James Doak. Ilana R. Dodelson. Georgia Doyne. Paloma Rebecca Dooley. Galen Dorpalin Berry. Max Guisbon Doyle. Sarl Hannah Dunn. Hannah Claire Durham. Patrick Cuevo Dwyer. Imani Janelle Easthausen. Alexander Ares Eckelman. Christopher James Eisenhower. Jade Zoe Elders. Elsa B. Engstrom. Olivia Bermudez Eschenbach Smith. Manon Escoffier. Rose Falvey. Jacob S. Fauber. Martha B. Fernley. Molly Panarati Feibel. Jacob Allen Feynman. Lucas Visco Faith. Andres Ferenz. Abigail Irene Patricia Feiner. Jacob Matthew Fisher. Dashel Alexandra McGray Flash. Lucy Munset Flam. Brianna Evelyn Flunk. Eliel H. Ford. Olivia Courtney Foreman. Omar Yoko Forrest. Alexa Chinello Monton Frank. Elias Max Frank. Alyssa Lee Freeman. Jake Freilich. Shia Regina French. Elizabeth Justine Freud. Michaela Friedberg. Douglas Hertz Friedman. Andrea Elizabeth Franzman. Oliver Ross Grabelson. Connor Joseph Gadek. Sajiv Galai. Sabrina Miriam Ann Gershbein. Amanda Phyllis Gersten. Grayson Fullerton Gibbs. Georgia R. Gillen. David James Giza. Esther Kajoni. Maya June Gokhale. Jessie Elizabeth Goldberg. Nicola May Fur Goldberg. Michael Anton Golub. Eamon C. Goodman. Eleni L. Gray. Matthew William Greenberg. Eliza Curtis Gunther Moore in absentia. Emma Kalafe Gunwe. Jenny Guo. Ishita Gupta in absentia. Margaret M. Gushu. Yungso Yeshi Geltson. Catherine Gaddis Hallowell. Najim ul Haq. Brian Christopher Harris. Kiara Sylvia Harrison Lamb. Shumik Hassan in absentia. Samuel James Buffett Haygood. Charlotte Petrie Heltai. Nina Lottie Hemmings. Carolyn Claire Hita. Anna Nadja Herson Segalin. Emily Holsley. Teresa Quine Holmes. Emma Alexandra Hurlyavich. Huang Yushin. Andy Huynh in absentia. Michael Cameron Ibsen. Leila Iravani. Tanya Amaris Elas. Anina B. Ivory Block. Annie Zhang. Shangren Jiang. Luke Wilder Johnson. Walter James Johnson in absentia. Patrick Cohen Jones. Emily Ann Joyce. Stephen Michael Joyce. Clayton Arthur Culloden. Zoe Fine Kusperzik. Amy Elizabeth Kasovics. Rachel Elizabeth Katz. Leo Frederick Cowpert. Leah Mary Chaos. Aaron August Kelly. Taryn Lee Kelly. Natalie Glenn Kirby. Sharad Halkali, in absentia. Leela Khanna. Alexander Kanji. Gabriel Mualua Kilongo. So-Young Kim. Brooke A. Kipling. Ariella R. Kirschbaum. Sarah J. Kiskaden-Bechtel. Mildred Apollo Kisai. Christiane Kofi. Jane Tapakovich. Haley B. Krishels. Hunter M. Christie. Isabella Teresa Cross. Catherine Marielle Kuhn. Michael Carey Kulukundis. Marina Miktorivna Kisla. Avery Ellen Lamb. Stephanie E. Lamont. Trevor Dan LaMountain. Sophie Elizabeth Lazar. Michael Stephen Ewan Lazarus. Dina Rose LeBlanc. Brandon Jacoby Lee in absentia. Caitlin Eileen Lee. Cody Elizabeth Lee. Michelle Lee. Simone Suzanne Leitner. Madeline H. Lemon. John Spillman Levering. Patrick Christian Lichtenstein. Molly Elizabeth Livingston. Carlos Laban Gadelia. Virginia Lopez Anido. Eric M. Lavocha. Anna Sabine Lowe Beer. Alice Lubick. Abigail Rose Lutsky. Renee Louis Masiosi. Ainish Madon. Ibrahim Mahalati. Shama Maharaj. Christy Mari Mayer. I'm going to pronounce that again. Christy Mari Meyer. Caitlin K. Majewski. Ishu Mao. Gaia Letitia Macaccini. Abigail S. Margolis. Nicole Alexandra Maran. Cypress Mars. Natalie Jade Fisher Marshall. Andreas Martinez de Velasco. Hannah Sterling Mason. Lily Maeve Mastrodimos. Gabriel Frederick Matsakis. Bella Song Mazzetti. Emma McCann. Brian McDonough. James Brian McGurk. Anna Claire McKeague. Thomas A. McQueenie. Zoe Rebecca Gruber Mahan. Carl Alexander Meyer. Henry Aaron Myers. Christina Milieu Theochakri. Samuel Ordman Miller. Lillian Virginia Mull. Quinn Elizabeth Moreland. Anastasia N. Marino. Courtney Christine Morris. In absentia. Allison Marie Molds. James Baldridge Murray. Jake Simon Nadrich. Vladimir P. Nahijavansky. Tanea Abraham Nasser Frederick. Alec T. Newell. Dom Lin Wen. Van Mai Wen T. Jillian S. Nichols. Hallie Ann Nolan. Christine Maria O'Donovan Zavada. Antonio Machado Oliver. Anna Catherine Opatka. Tristan Jacob O'Shea. Preston Wolcott Osman. Hannah Lorraine Otto. Dongfang Ouyang. Nicole Tina Ozunis. Christopher Norwood Painter in absentia. Kunsang Palmo. Yazkiran Panther. Emily Jane Parker. Paul S. Parker. Thekendrajit Singh Parma. Efriat Ariel Peleg. Emilio Esteban Peña. Wei Peng. Antonio Estela Perez. Ariana Gabriela Perez Castells. Alex Perinet. Anne McEnroe Phelps. Gabriela Elise Philo. Emma Nicole Pyle. Leonardo Jose Pineda Garcia. Reed Atticus Pomerantz in absentia. Alexander Potashnik. Stephanie Rose Presh. Victoria Lee Prince. Yu Q. Christopher Joseph Qualiano in absentia. Jonian Rafty. Nathan Shorn Reese. Joanna Rose Regan. Eli J. Regan. Jonathan C. Regnier. Lillian Elizabeth Reich. Marcel A. Reed Jacques. Sarah Treat Ribbett. Noah Park Richmond. Syra M. Rischel. Samuel Thomas Rowbottom. James Nicholas Rogers Gahan. In absentia. John Jackson Rollins. Catherine Rose. Abraham Isaac Rosenthal in absentia. Tatiana Roth. Norman P. Rosenberg. Adelaide Grace Ruff. Alessio Russo. Nina S. Reiser. Mila T. Samdub. Loach Sample. Mayat Susan. Ezra Son Mion. Catherine Janet Sanborn. Queuing Sanchez. Julianne Aldiano Sarabia. Rachel Alexandra Schubert. Elena Christiana Shiapakasi. Aaron MacArthur Shine. Gareth Westendorf Schoonover in absentia. Daniel Ross Schutram Broward. Clara Morgan Sikowski. Karima Chanel Shabazz. Marissa Clem Shadburn. Enzo Shalom. Alana Naomi Shaw. Levi Mikhail Shore Faber. Emmett Alexander Shoemaker. Anushka Shrestha. Olya Samoska. Yasho Victoria Gayatri Kala Singh. Benjamin Eric Smart. Alexandra G. Smith. Samuel Drake Wise Smith. Megan Sarah Snyder. Seth Baird Sabatka. Camilla Sobral. Hanjay Song. Marina Susi. Colleen Heather Spratt. James Michelle McKinnos Bruenberg Stewart. Hillary Elizabeth Stedman. Emily Liza Steicher Epstein. Ingrid Stolt. Ariana C. Stoltz. Sophia Alicia Sutcliffe. Rose Sachi Tantranon Soto. Beryl Emily Taylor. Maxwell Jasper Taylor Milner. Augustine Temperini Ahumada. Artist Claire Tennyson Loisel. Ian Andrew Thauer. Rachel Hannah Thompson. John Son Tu. Oscar A. Tenay. Maxwell Schatz Tolson. Dahlia Liat Toth. Joanne Louise Troutner in absentia. Dorothy Ann Trowbridge. Mayumi Suchida. Carter Isaac Vanderbilt. Heska Vondorna. Jesse George Vervin. Kristen Grace Vesey. Nicholas William Violet. Julia L. Vanderenk. Christina Frederica Wack. Christina Simone Wade. Daniel John Waldo. Libby Amelia Walker. Michaela Catherine Walker. Nigel Jarrett Washington. Mariah Elizabeth Weaver. Morgan Sylvie Weil. Camille Weisgunt. Jake L. Wiseman. Shui Wong. Cameron Miller West. Nicholas John Wetherell. Claire J. Wheeler. Alex Garland White. Henry Tyler Williams. Rowan Olivia Willigan. Amelia Mimi Wilson. Elizabeth Ann Winnick. Noah Skylar Winslow. Jody Isabel Wisner. Alex Yanan Shu. Yuchen Shu. Casey Lennon Yamazaki Heinemann. Yahweh Yen. Yang Bing Wen. Xi Yang. Samuel Rogers Zeitlin. Jin Zhang. Xingwei Zhang in absentia. Yingqin Zhang. And the last graduate of the class of 2015, Adam Joseph Zuckerman in absentia.
Will all the bachelor degree candidates please stand? Actoritate mi commissa, vos ad gradus baccalaurea in artibus e musicae scientiae admitto, omniaque jura ac privilegia ad hos gradus pertinentia vobis concedo, et in testimonium hoc diploma vobis solemniter trado. Congratulations to you all.
Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly, unless you decide to run and do that humbly too. May God deny you ease and give you grace. Amen.